Hey everybody. Yeah, Jimmy's on vacay this week. So it's just us. Hey everybody. Yeah, welcome back to the Paid Search Podcast. My name's Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by the great Chris Schaefer. Chris, it's a beautiful day. We're recording this. I got some sun today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Jason, thank you for being here with me to drop yet another bomb onto the internet of Google Ads knowledge. We are, at this point, I feel like we have thousands of hours of bomber flight time, because that's what we do. We come zooming across the skies and then just drop bombs into homes and into cars, and it's absolute destruction, and people love it. They keep coming back, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for being here. Jason, is it a good week? Do we have praise for you to read?
Oh, yes, we do.
Oh, good.
So this we love getting your 5-star reviews. When you do that, you're in control.
Oh.
When you do that, you tell the algorithms, you tell the internet, wow, I was just looking for a freaking podcast or informational resource that just tells me about Google Ads. Good information from people who've done it for a long time. Not people promising magic, not people promising secrets, even though they title every other episode Secrets because they found that clickbaity word does good.
Shh, don't say that.
With the metrics. But they give good information. I'm just looking for that kind of podcast. Oh, you finally found it. Oh, you want to find more of it. You want to tell the algorithms, hey, reward that show. Give us a 5-star review. We appreciate it. This one comes from Bryce from Australia.
All right.
Chris, there's a chance if you and I ever get from Texas and Oklahoma out to Australia, that we're going to be just mobbed as celebrities at the airport down there.
They love
just
us.
Kings of Australia. There's a chance.
Yeah.
It could be like that, and we just don't know.
I have been told personally that a gentleman in Australia will make an hour drive. If I come to Australia and I'm within an hour, he will drive an hour to come see me. Can you imagine?
So Chris and I were doing live kind of monthly chats on Patreon for the super patron tier with our patrons, and we live just really a few hours away from each other. But we're going to do our live meetup in Australia.
There we go. That makes a
a
lot of sense. Let's go around the world and then see each other.
But this one comes from Bryce in Australia. 5 stars. Amazing podcast. It's rare, and that word is just teeing me up for an Australian accent.
Oh, do it.
There's nothing better.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
I'm a young dad.
Oh, do you have shame now?
Not been getting enough sleep. No, I'm just, I got to conserve my energy. I can't be going, just want to do it so bad.
You can do
but
it.
I won't.
Aww.
It's rare to get content from experts in their field providing so much value. The Paid Search Podcast is exactly that. Tipping my hat to Chris and Jason. Amazing work. Wow. Thanks, Bryce. Thank you so much for that review.
Yeah.
Moving up the charts, number 26 marketing podcast in Australia. But of course, we want to be the number 1 overall podcast.
Overall, yeah. Above everything. Yeah, absolutely. That's our goal.
Moving on up. Chris, we got a lot going on. We've got the Patreon after show if people want to sign up there. We've got the first 100 episodes, really just good beginner entry-level knowledge for Google Ads. We've got the insider episodes. You can find them on our website for people in the business, how to get clients, all that kind of stuff. And then today we have episode number 234.
Good one.
And we're going to be talking about Google Ads Editor. And I'm going to be putting you on the stand and posing you and finding out just why you have so much passion for this tool, the editor. It just screams off the page at me. You love it.
Yeah.
You demand that other people know about it. And we're going to provide a ton of great value today talking about how we use it. But first, Chris, you have a message from Optio, and then we'll get into the show.
Yeah. You guys downloaded this podcast probably because, well, of course you're subscribed, so it's instantaneous. But for those that saw it and clicked on it specifically, you were interested because you saw the mention of tools. If you like tools, tricks, hacks, shortcuts, ways that can get things done faster in Google Ads, I have another secret to tell you beyond the Google Ads editor, which I'm going to relay all kinds of great information about that. There's another tool, and it's super affordable. And for the first 8 weeks, it's even better. It's entirely free. It's called optio.com/PSP2. Go to that website, use the little chat box that pops up and says, "Hi, I'm Haley from Optio," or whoever you get to chat with. Tell her that you want 8 weeks for free. Demand it because you deserve it and you are special, and they'll give it to you because you heard it here on the Paid Search Podcast. This is a free opportunity to try one of the best online Google Ads management tools there is. Change bids, get reports, see unique algorithm-driven recommendations outside of the boring stuff that you get directly in Google Ads. You get recommendations there. This is an algorithm system that gives you smart suggestions, tells you about your ad copy, tells you about negative keywords, certain keywords that are beyond KPI standards. This is a great tool. Try it out. You're going to really like it because it's designed to get more done in Google Ads. This is the tool. This whole podcast today is about getting things done faster, new opportunities to try different things, unique shortcuts, and that's what Optio is about. And take your Google Ads management to the next level. Optio.com/PSP2.
Wow, thanks, Chris. Now, we got a lot to talk about today. Funny, we should be talking about the editor today. I just got a request on an account right before our show. Chris, this account, it might have like 60 campaigns.
Oh, gosh.
And the client wants to.
My heart just stopped.
You okay? You okay? Still there?
Yeah. Oh, it's terrifying.
They want to change their hours, their ad schedule. And a couple years ago, I learned a trick inside the editor.
Mm-hmm.
You change one ad schedule inside the account. You pull that into editor, and then you can quickly apply that. And the change total takes maybe about 60 seconds to change the schedule on 60 campaigns or more. Do you know how long that would take inside an account if you don't know about that trick in editor?
Yeah.
Long time. At least probably 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 minutes. Yeah.
Basically ruins
So that's just
day.
one example. Yeah. It definitely ruins an afternoon, ruins your workflow. And that's just one example of what you can do with this thing called the Google Ads editor. A lot of people think they know Google Ads, but maybe they don't know Google Ads editor. So Chris, get us kicked off here. What are we talking about with this editor?
Editor is a separate software, okay? So stop clicking around on your UI. There's not a little button that says swap to editor or turn on editor, okay? If you want to use editor, it's very easy. In our podcast feed, there is an address right on a $20 bill. I want to download Google Ads Editor. Send it to that address. You will get back a link. I think that's how it works, Jason. Is that how you get Google Ads?
Well, Chris, I mean, this is about the third time you've made this mistake, and maybe this is for off the air, but I'm an on the air kind of guy, open book. We agreed to take that address down.
Oh, is it not on
just
there?
Just so you know. So yeah. So when you keep making references to that,
Okay, forget the $20, guys. Just Google it. Google Ads Editor. You'll download it. I'm being sarcastic.
Google Ads Editor.
Of course, you're smart guys. You know where to get it. Okay, you download it. But the main thing is, people think it's something that you get in the Google Ads system. No, it's an entirely different software that you download and install. And what I'm going to be doing is describing two aspects that you will love. Okay, the first one is ways that you can do things faster. And then the second aspect will be unique opportunities, unique tools that you can use in Google Ads Editor that you can't do anywhere else. Okay? These are things that can't be done in the basic UI interface that everybody uses. Okay? So lots of great stuff that you may never be able to use that could save you tons of time, help you with your process. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So download it, try it out. And I got a little tease for you. If you're interested in joining our patron group, for the super patron level, I will be demoing all or at least most of these things in one of my weekly super patron videos that I do. So I'll be doing this. You'll be able to see these if you haven't seen it, if you want to know how to use it, you want an introduction, or specifically you don't know what I'm talking about, because that's the problem with podcasts. It's all audio. I can't show it to you. You want a visual opportunity to see it? Check out our super patron level, and you'll be able to see the visual side of it. So before we jump in, Jason, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there one thing that's on this list that you really like, other than the ad schedule thing? You mentioned that. Is there anything on the list that you see that, or that you don't see, I should say? Is there anything on the list that you don't see that you do really like about Google Ads Editor?
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that I don't see, because I was wondering where you were going with,
Yeah, I know.
Oh, tell me what you like that you see. And I was starting to get offended because I was like, is that a he talks too much thing and we just want to get it out of the way early? Because there's no getting it out of the way with me, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Anything that I left off, I want to give you that opportunity, because we're going to go through a lot.
Let me run through this.
Do you have any favorites?
Let me run through this.
Maybe we can just skip that.
No, I like that.
Okay.
But let me review it real quick. Okay, Chris. So I looked through there. We have a very comprehensive list. There were even a couple tricks that I didn't think you would put on there, but they are in there. I do like my schedule one. It is a good tip.
Yeah.
It's a real good tip. It's a time saver, Chris. I don't want to share it, but you know what? I'm going to share it because this is what we do on the show. And so all I'm asking in return, I want you guys to lather on the thickest, most beautiful, most flattering reviews anybody could ever imagine. All about me too, not about Chris. So leave those reviews
at the very end.
Just title them Jason as the title, and just really, please do something to my ego. I'd really
at the very
really
end
appreciate that. And
just put Chris is there too. You could just put that at the end,
and then comma. I think.
Yeah, I think.
Comma doesn't matter? Question mark. Just kidding, Chris. No, really, I would love that. So if this tip helps you, please do that. So, Chris, just the time, the schedule thing, what you do is in the upper left quadrant, you have your list of campaigns. In the lower left, your list of campaigns and ad groups. In the lower left quadrant, you have your manage area. So you click on a campaign, then you click on campaign level in the manage area in the lower left. Then in the center of the screen, you right click on a campaign, and you hit copy shell.
Oh, wow.
This isn't intuitive. How would anybody know this?
Yeah.
I think I know it because I've been doing this for years and years, every single day.
I didn't think about that.
40 to 60 hours a week. Nobody's ever going to catch me. I'm the number one Google Ads manager on the planet.
Of course.
Specifically for lead generation, for search campaigns. I don't do any e-commerce. But if I did, I'd be the number one there too. But I don't.
Wow.
So copy shell. Well, some people go, how are you the number one Google Ads manager on the planet if you don't do any e-commerce? If you don't do any e-commerce, and I had to make that clearly.
That's good. I was so confused.
I don't do any e-commerce, and I'm still the number one Google Ads manager on the planet. Because if I did, it's implied. If I did, of course, I'd be just as good at that too. Okay. But I don't. But if I did. So you get your campaign, you right-click, copy shell, and then you go to your other campaigns that you want to update that schedule. The one you copy shell on is the schedule you're copying. Then you go to the other campaigns you want to copy the schedule into, and you highlight them in the campaign area. And then on the right side, you go to add schedule, and then it should have usually a percentage in there, or it'll say varies or something like that if you've got multiple campaigns. And you click that little paste graphic. It's like a little copy board or whatever. You paste it, and if you hit paste at the ad schedule, you copy shell and then paste at the ad schedule line, it'll only paste that ad schedule.
Oh my goodness.
And the ads, you didn't know about this?
I did not know. I'm so glad I asked. I feel like we took the scenic route to get to this point, but I'm glad I asked.
You're the guy who made the lazy man build. Uh-huh. So I reckon you probably don't have a lot of accounts that have 60 or more campaigns.
No, very true.
But in the event you ever grow up one day and have 60 campaigns. I'm sorry, Chris. You did nothing to do this. You did nothing to bring this out in me. But it's here
It's okay.
It's here now.
I'm fine with
Home
it.
here now.
I'm okay.
It's home here now. Lease and a key, Chris. Okay, so if you ever have 60 campaigns, man, I can't stress enough how much time that saves. The other thing I didn't see on the list, which you'll probably say, oh, it's on the list, but I'm going to use the word specifically. We'll be talking about the copy and paste features, Chris. The copy and paste features are amazing. You know what they're amazing for hardcore Google Ads managers like myself? They're amazing for starting new accounts. Because what you can do when you have Editor open, you can open one account that's been running for 5 years, that's in a vertical that you have a new client in, and you open up the second account, and there's nothing in there. So you could do the whole interface thing. Do you want to do this automated? No. Do you want to do ads automated? No. Do you want to do keywords automated? No. Do you want to do settings automated? No. This is not advised. Yeah, I know, but I still want to do it anyway.
Right.
And you can take 15 minutes and click through there.
Yeah.
Or you can just copy your campaign from one account, paste it to another account, and then you can make a bunch of edits specific to that new client in the same vertical, and that can save you a lot of time. So copy and pasting between accounts is something that you definitely did not have on your list because you don't know what you're doing. Or did Chris have it on his list and I missed it? Or did Chris have it on his list and I intentionally said he didn't have it on his list? Just to make, no, I'm just kidding. Chris, you've got it there. You're a wise man. I skipped over it. I didn't see it. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
But it's a really good tip.
It is. Oh, so, yeah. Copying campaigns from account to account. That is one of the unique tools that was on my list. But that's okay. Got a hint. All right, so let's jump in. Let's talk about doing things faster. One of the things that drives me crazy in the Google Ads interface is adding image ads, or even more specifically, editing them. Have you ever tried to edit an image ad?
Have you ever
final
loved
URL
somebody so much it just... Chris, are we talking remarketing display?
I'm talking remarketing. I'm talking about display, like non-remarketing display.
All right, so easy image ad upload.
Or
are you
videos.
Talking about and videos? Are you talking about responsive ads, or are you talking about only like you bring your own images to the table, your own image files?
Specifically, your own image files. That's the stuff that drives me crazy because you cannot quickly change those. If you do a bulk edit in the user interface. By the way, when I say UI, I'm just gonna say UI, and that's referring to the online aspect. Okay, so when you try and do it in the UI, there's no option to change in bulk those JPEG or PNGs or whatever you're uploading. You can't do that in bulk. You can do that in Editor. That's a massive thing. That if you use image ads, or if you want to change videos, or you want to do responsive responsive image ads, that can be a hassle as well, because you can't really see what you're changing unless you click on it. So that's number one thing that I use it all the time. Anytime someone sends me like 50 new image ads to use for remarketing, I'm gonna open up Editor every time.
Wow, this is something I've never done before in Editor. I appreciate this tip, Chris. So you're basically, you're going to make the video, but just for my own understanding here, you're basically in a display campaign, then you go in the lower left side to image ads or responsive display ads. And then when you click from ad to ad, it has the image section in all the parts of the ad, like the display URL, final URL. And then mine already have images in there, so you can delete the images, and then if you want to, it has an upload option. Is that what you're talking about? Just uploading it right from there?
Well, you can upload in bulk as well. Yes. So what you're talking about, but also in bulk, I can say, add, I get clients that want to, like car dealerships and stuff like that want to change things based on the time of year, seasons, new vehicles. So they want to constantly change them. I hate having to change those in the UI, and this is a great tool. So if you're using image ads of any kind,
are you saying
it's great
in bulk with like an Excel file or a Google Sheet file?
No, you just highlight them on your desktop and just upload them. Yeah, no, you don't have to use any spreadsheets, nothing. It's wonderful.
There's like a positive and negative side to this. The positive side is how fast this all is and how efficient it is. The kind of negative side in my mind is how punishing this is to people who don't know about the editor and don't use it, because that is punishing to upload 50 new ads inside the interface.
Because you have to keep it. So when you're uploading, you have to constantly wait for it to upload all of them. You have to wait for each one to load, and then guess what? If there's a problem with one, anyone who uses the UI knows if there's a problem with one image, now you got to figure out which one messed up, which one has the wrong dimensions. All that kind of stuff is a hassle, and it itemizes all of that. So, all right. Let's jump next. Bulk text ad editing. Okay, this is something that every one of you guys are going to have. Not everyone's going to be using image ads, but text ad editing is huge. What I love to do is sort everything by headline 1, sort everything by headline 2, and I can look and see, like, if I have a price point or a time of year or a seasonal kind of thing or a certain kind of message. If I want to change it from free consultation to call now to talk to a lawyer or whatever I want to change it to, I can change that very easily by looking at headline 1, headline 2, headline 3, and sorting them. Bulk text ad editing is really important. It's something that I use constantly.
Chris, this is a great one for the editor. It just solves problems. So one problem would be like a client tells you, hey, last year we were using this specific ad copy. It was working great in tons of ads. We want to change it. And you have 60 campaigns, 10 ad groups, 3 ads, 3 times 10 is 30, 30 times 60 is 900, 900 times 72 is... No, I was going too far there. Yeah. No, you have 900 ads. What are you going to do? You can do a little find and replace and all that inside the interface. But whenever I do that in the interface with a ton of ads, I don't feel confident.
No.
Because it says, okay, you made the change, and you're like, okay, I did, but these are ads. They're going out there. They're public facing.
Yeah.
I want to know they're 100% right. You don't get that confidence feeling. You can get the confidence through the editor. You just highlight all the ads. They're there, just one little row by one little row. You can filter for only ads that have that copy you're trying to change. You can sort it. And another one, Chris, everything we're talking about here, it really just gets highlighted when you're doing builds. Builds are some of the most time-consuming things for professional Google Ads Manager or for in-house people where they're making a new campaign. All this stuff we're talking about applies to builds. And the number one reason I use editor for builds, Chris, is the ad copy. Because if you want to, you can do the sheet uploading thing. And sometimes I do that. But more often what I do is I just make 4 ads, copy and paste one ad with one word in headline 1. Boom, boom, boom. And then I have 4 ads made. I can just go in there and fill them out very quickly. And that's kind of the biggest time saver for me with builds is the using editor to quickly make a bunch of ads. And even though it's quick, Chris, you can make ads that are very different from each other.
Yep.
It's just, you can do it so fast because it's all on that one nice screen.
Yep. I would go so far as to say, if ads aren't taking you the longest part of a Google Ads new build, in my opinion, for the guy who came up with Lazy Man Build, you're doing it wrong. For me, keywords are the shortest because who the heck knows what keywords are going to work? You just start with something and get started. Ad copy is what takes me the longest, and that's why editor is invaluable, is because text, finding the right kind of headline 1, headline 2. Then if you want to throw a responsive ad in there as well, writing that up really quick, copying from your current expanded text ads. It's so easy to do. Copy, paste, boom, boom, it's over. So in the same line, we get into find and replace. Now, this is a massive tool. There's no way I could go into all the details, but find and replace has a ton of applications. One of the things I love the most, I'll just pick one thing, is the fact that you can do something before or after. And here's one trick that I use, okay? I say anytime there's a space in a keyword, this is super technical, I say find a space. So I'm on the keyword tab. I say find a space, and I say replace it with a space with a plus. And I only say for broad keywords. So I set a filter for broad keywords. So what it does is it takes every keyword that has a space in it and then replaces it with a space plus. So that immediately adds a plus to every one of my broad keywords like that. I'm able to go from pure broad to modified broad instantly with the find and replace tool.
So Chris, I've probably used find and replace probably at least 1,000 times in my life in Editor, probably more. I've never clicked over to the append tab in Find and Replace and seen this before existing text, after existing text.
Oh.
Chris, I don't know. I mean, I get a sense of what the relationship's like with your wife because she makes a habit before the show of throwing us off and coming in here right when we start the show. And it seems to be every week. And she just has a instinct for messing us up there. So thank you. Yeah. But so I get the sense things are okay. Mm-hmm. But I'm just going to give you a little marital, big word, marital advice from a guy who's been married for
15,
a few months compared to a guy that's been married for many, many years. Mm-hmm. So take it from me. You're spending too much time in Editor, and these kids are growing up. And as a new dad, Chris, I just see how fast it goes, and you got to get out of this Editor thing and talk to your family every now and then, because you are in this thing too deep, buddy.
I love it.
Yeah, so if I was a marriage counselor and you guys told me all these problems, I'd be like, yep, he's an editor too much. Come on, dude. You're on the append tab. What are you talking about? The before text, after text. What a dork.
I know.
What a dorky dork.
I imagine all the hours that's what, I've saved in my life.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That little hack right there. I'll show you how to do it in
what color? Patron. What color are your wife's eyes?
Oh, she has eyes?
Wow. Okay. It's called projection, Chris. It's called projection.
Right.
It's called problems at my home. And I'm kidding. I have the best wife, Chris. She's the best mom.
Of course.
And I love you, Cynthia. I love you, baby.
Oh wow.
Actually, you know what? We don't say baby to each other. We always make fun of people that say that. But Chris, I love that append idea. Find and replace. Just a little tip for everybody, so you don't really screw yourself around too much. And maybe this thing should be highlighted, little graphic design, little what do they call it? User experience, UX. Mm-hmm. Perform action in all applicable fields is in Find and Replace. Mm-hmm. If you want to not mess yourself up, why don't you take half of 1 second and pay attention to that before you find and replace something? Because that can really mess you up.
Yeah.
And it's defaulted to all applicable fields. So if you're only wanting to add a modifier to some word, or if you're only wanting to change headline 1, if you do it on all applicable fields, it'll kind of mess you up.
Like the URL. Like you can screw up your URLs.
Exactly.
I've done that before.
Oh, that's a bad one.
That's a really bad one.
That is messed up. And then it won't tell you anything.
No. It'll like if your URL has the word lawyer in it and you want to change all lawyers to the word attorney, it's like, okay, got that. I just changed your domain too. Good luck.
Yep. All applicable fields. There's also a change capitalization in there for ads.
Yeah,
that's a cool one.
You just stole one of my things. You got to read ahead, Jason. That's it. Okay, I'm taking back over. Next, we're going to copy paste keywords, ads, ad groups, audiences, all these things, all these different categories. You can copy and paste. That's not anything that's huge. It's just a very practical speed element.
But the difference, yes, it's a speed. The difference between the interface, do you know what I do, Chris? I copy something in Google Ads, and then I pull out the book that I'm reading, and then I read a chapter.
Oh, yep.
And by the time I'm done with the chapter, then the paste usually happens. Yep. And you know what? About 1 out of every 7 times it says, didn't work.
Failed.
And we're not going to tell you the reason.
Yeah.
The speed of copy and paste in Google Ads Editor is extremely fun.
Yeah. Oh, fun. That's a good term for it. Fun. I was thinking of a different word started with F. Next, this is something that I really, we know people from Google listen. We know that. So every now and then I like to slip a few suggestions in. Here we go.
Or there's a homeless guy in Mountain View
that's been listening since episode 1.
And he likes podcasts about Google Ads, and he lives on the street and he eats out of dumpsters, but he really likes our podcast. And if he's out there listening, hope he gives us a 5-star review.
Yeah, please.
Homeless man from Mountain View.
And please tell the Google reps right by this suggestion, review recommendations. You can review them. You can review the recommendations in Google Ads Editor. Jason, guess what you can't do? You can apply them. You can't dismiss them. There's no ability to dismiss them. You have to go in and dismiss them in the UI. So I know they don't want us to dismiss them.
So you can apply them. You can apply them from the editor.
You can apply them, and you can apply them in very specific ways. There are unique ways to apply them. You say apply this one, this one, this one. You know, if it has keyword suggestions or ad copy suggestions, you can choose what you want to apply, which is cool. I like that a lot better. But it'd be really cool to be able to dismiss them. There's a stretch. I don't know if they'll go for it, but we'll see.
Well, sometimes those recommendations just really are not on board with what you're trying to accomplish. So there's
up your budget.
They have dismissed for a reason,
like increase.
Well, up your
budget,
or budget. Pause these keywords. And you're like, no, I want those keywords in there, or change to an automated bidding style. And you're like, no, I'm doing manual. And there's a reason they have dismiss in the platform. So I agree with you. If they had dismiss in the editor as well, that'd be cool. Quick tip, Chris. Now that we're talking about a new feature in the editor, they might add the ability to dismiss one day in the editor. And do you know how you'll know if you're up to date? Lower right-hand corner, it's highlighted blue. Version, it'll tell you the version number. If you click that hyperlink at the bottom right corner of editor, it'll take you to the Google Ads help section for editor, and it'll tell you what's new in that section, and it's a good way to tell you if you're up to date with the newest editor, because they do make updates to this quite a bit, and then you have to update it.
Okay, that's a good point. Thank you. Yeah, keep being updated because it does change. All right, next, this is the last one in the speed category. Then we're going to go to the unique tools. Speed. Bulk change to keyword match type. This may not seem like a big deal, but if you when you pair it with one of the things I'm going to mention in the next area, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to do it now. Here's how I use it. I'm spilling all the beans, Jason. You know, I'm just going to jump to it. Pair it with, and I'm going to bring in this unique one from my list down below.
Pair it. I'm just going to use this unique one with my list below. Pair it.
That's so mature. I can't. Okay. And now I can't. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, that's it.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
If you add the number of...
Okay.
if you pair... Jason!
Now you sound like a parrot. Let's go, buddy. Hold it together here.
Okay.
You said the word parrot.
I know. That's so funny.
Chris, I have a young son. That when I tell him about what a parrot does, that is one of the coolest things in life. When you figure that out for the first time, and all the things as a little boy you imagine you can do with a parrot and prank people and stuff. Yeah. So not just animals. A bird that says the same thing humans say.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Okay. So to the tip. If you go to the keyword tab and add the keyword word count column, there are a ton of columns in the keyword thing, but you can change and edit and modify your columns. There's one called keyword word count. If you add that as a column and then sort by keyword word count, you can see all of your keywords that are just 1 word long, 2 words long. When you pair this with the keyword word count with the ability to change match type, you can very quickly say, you know what? All of these keywords here that are 2 words and I have modified broad match, these are spending too much. I want to change these in bulk. Maybe you're doing a build or you're editing a current campaign. You can change them to phrase. That's something I use all the time with, account restructures or account builds where I can change those at once, and it works wonderfully with that keyword word count column, which is
keyword word count
not in the UI. It is not there. I've looked; it's not there.
Chris, one time I work with a lot of competitive industries that spend a lot of money.
Yes,
because I'm addicted to money. Jason, why are you the best Google Ads manager? I love money.
Yeah.
Chris, last night I was buying more stocks.
Of course.
I can't tell you how high it made me. Like I love money. And so I worked for a very high.
You went and bought Best Buy, right?
No, it ended up not being Best Buy. No,
What?
they're more kind of fully valued. I'm looking for deep value. If anyone's interested in that, no, I don't do plugs on this show for myself.
Sure you do.
I'm just here to help. Chris, So I work for a lot of high spending industries, very competitive. One time I was adding a ton of new keywords. I was like, oh, I've got all these new keywords. I've got my ad group buckets. I'm going to dump them in, blah, blah, blah. And I was going so fast because I'm good at what I do and I go fast. But instead of the word Chicago and then a couple more words that are for that industry, I just accidentally added the word Chicago, and we were bidding hundreds of dollars, and the campaign budget was set to thousands of dollars.
Oh, gosh.
And so I put in the word Chicago broad match, pure broad match with hundreds of dollars bids and a budget that was in the thousands.
Oh, gosh.
And I caught it like 20 minutes later, but we had already spent a couple $1,000s. And the bad news is I had a huge credit on my invoice and I lost $2,000 because I paid the client back because it was my mistake and it was a dumb one.
Ugh.
The good news is I got some really interesting search term work out of that one. Got to see how people were searching things about Chicago. So that was on the got to look at the upside there, Chris.
Yeah.
But here's my point, Chris. Sometimes after I made that mistake, now what I do, if I really do a lot of like throwing in keywords, and what I'm talking about is you hit the plus keyword button and you paste in a bunch of keywords in that kind of paste area. Then you add your match types and you just hit add and it'll add them in there in the interface. Mm-hmm. You're going through, you're doing an add group to add group, a bunch of keywords. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to open up Editor when I'm done, pull the recent information so it's up to date. And then I got this tip from you. I didn't know about word count until you showed me it. I go to my keywords for all campaigns. I do the filter. I do show word count. And then I do show keywords that have a word count of 1.
Yep.
Because most of the time in my accounts that are expertly run, we don't usually ever have one word keywords unless it's brand or something like that. We usually don't. That's a sign of usually low quality keyword, usually. Depends on the strategy, but it's not common. So if I have a 1 word count keyword, it means either there's only a handful of them and I know what's going on because we're trying that strategy. And so it's easy to look at the list, or I messed up and I'm able to catch that quickly.
Yep.
So then I go from 1 to 2, and usually there's a lot of 2 word keywords, but I can quickly sort through them and see if anything doesn't make sense. And then you can even layer on a filter on that of match type broad. Keyword does not include a plus sign. You can look at your pure broad keywords and make sure all of them make sense. So it's a good way to kind of check for mistakes and not just totally evaporate $2,000 in 26 minutes and stress yourself out while you're doing it.
That sounds terrifying. All right. Well, this next one is more for the super patrons because these are things that I'm not necessarily going to describe, because if you don't know that they're there, that's the point. These are unique tools, unique aspects of Google Ads Editor that you may not know about that should entice you to try it out. So if you don't know where they are, I'm not going to spend the time discussing how to find them and where it all is, but we
can discuss what they are.
Yeah, I want to discuss what they are and what they do, but I don't want to go into any details because that is going to be the visual aspect. So unique tools that you can do in Google Ads. Number 1, draft campaigns. This is super cool. You can create a campaign that is set to draft mode, and when you hit upload or when you hit post, it stays in Google Ads Editor. It does not get uploaded. So I've had campaigns where I'm trying some new stuff and I want to push one campaign, and I'll set something in a draft mode because I don't want it to update. I want some things to update, but not that one. I'll be building a campaign or I'll be testing something. Super cool. It's not something you're going to use in the UI in the way that you would use it here. There are drafts in the UI, but they don't really work like this. It's a pain to do the draft system in the UI.
Actually, is this like a draft? Like, I'm working on a campaign in Editor. Oh, I don't eat enough for breakfast because then I do CrossFit and I don't have energy, so I got to go get lunch and eat my stupid tuna and goldfish or whatever. Oh, I don't have goldfish in the house because I have no self-control, and that's the way I hold everything together fitness-wise, because I just don't put it in the house. And my name's Chris.
Wow.
So
you do know a lot about me.
A lot.
That's scary.
Is this like I'm working on a campaign and then I'm going to go take a break and I want to come back to it?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by draft?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In the sense that maybe I want to do it today. Yeah. I want to work on it today, but I'm not done yet. and then come back to it. Yeah.
So you mentioned the word post. Why wouldn't you just leave it as a draft and editor and then come back to editor? Are you saying there's a way to post it where like it saves it to editor, and then so if editor has to be reopened, you don't lose your work?
Exactly.
But you're not actually posting it to the account.
Exactly. So let's say I have 3 campaigns, and I make a draft campaign that's a new search that's designed to do, broad match like a pro. And the other stuff, I made a couple changes to it, and I'm ready to go with the other 2. I want those changes to be posted. So I push those up, and then the draft needs to sit there until I'm finished. That's the idea. All right. Next, change capitalization. That's not in the UI. That's really...
Stole that one from me.
That one's really cool. Change capitalization is really handy if you want to change, you write things a certain way. One thing I get a lot is a keyword list from a client, and...
I was just thinking this. Yes.
And they'll put everything in camel caps, or something like that, or all caps, and I don't want it that way, so it'll change it for me. Another one is comments. Does not exist anywhere. And this is something that makes me mad. I wish comments had existed in the UI because I would love for those comments to carry over, but they don't. Comments is a feature in the Google Ads editor system, and it even gives you a little indication that, hey, there's a comment on this. There's a comment on keywords or your campaign or your ad group.
Now, Chris, what do you mean by comments?
You can add.
What do comments do?
You can add a comment to an aspect of your Google Ads, and this has been around for years.
Are these like notes?
Yeah, personalized notes just within the Google Ads editor API system. They don't show up in the UI anywhere that I've ever seen.
Oh, local comments. So you're just like, okay, I built this campaign out. I'm worried about this aspect of it. Keep your eye on that.
Yeah. In a perfect world, Jason, where I'm doing stuff and I'm super organized and I never screw up anything, and I'm totally focused. Let's say I'm working for one client and have all my attention on one client. I could see this being somebody who has an in-house system and they use the comments to make notes about what they changed, why this is here, and they're putting it at the campaign level, the ad group level, they're writing notes, they're dating the notes, stuff like that. I mean, I think it would be beautiful. The discipline to do that is not something I have, honestly.
Where do you come in on that spectrum of note comment taking in Google Ads and looking at old notes to figure out where you're at now with the data? Are you on like A, never do it, or are you on the other side, B, of like, oh yeah, I rely on that a ton?
Definitely on the aspect of when something important changes. Like if they they cut the budget in half, then I'll put notes in the UI. Or if conversion tracking changed, I'll put a note in the UI, stuff like that. So whatever level that is, I guess.
I'm so about the here and now. Look at me in my eyes and just think about now. Nobody exists but us. Flirt with that camera lens, Chris. Sorry.
What?
No, Chris, when I manage an account, I'm so in the now. I'm so focused on the data and the recent data. I fall in the spectrum of like, I don't want to know what we did 2 years ago because variance was different with the keyword match types. The system was different. We were doing different bidding, and the competitor framework was different. I'm so about the here and now. And so that's kind of where I come down. I like your comment thing there, but...
Okay. Well, hey.
Not for this guy.
I got 5 more, and one is my absolute favorite, and I'm going to share it right after I tell you guys about...
I swear, if your absolute favorite is dark mode, then go home right now, because that's such a weak thing. I tried it once. You and everybody else, when that update came out, you're like, you can go dark mode.
I can't believe you just ripped the rug out from underneath me, and I'm standing there with my knees on the. Oh, okay.
Actually, dark mode's not that bad.
Oh, I hate you.
It just depends on really the platform. I just got used to it.
Is the reason Google Ads doesn't suck. I think that's probably true. I think the reason Google Ads doesn't suck for 90% of the people listening to this podcast is because they have taken my word and tried it out. Okay. If you haven't tried it out, I'll let you know the truth. You're in the minority. Most of our patrons have tried it out. Most of our regular listeners that write into us have tried it out. They like it. They continue to use it. Especially, they certainly use it during the 8-week free trial. So be sure, sign up, try it out, let them know that you're a Paid Search Podcast listener. And hey, there's no code to use. You just have to, let them know, hey, give me that 8-week thing. And then you're done. You can sign up and get going from there. Try it out for 2 cycles, 2 months worth of this wonderful tool, opteo.com/PSP2. Okay. I lied. Jason stole my dark mode suggestion. So that kills one of mine. Honestly, that was my favorite.
It's in the lower right corner. It depends what you like. I just always got used to editor being this bright light thing, kind of like the old Google Ads interface.
Everybody nowadays, when they're working on a desktop, they have a monitor like the size of their interior wall. I mean, it's like the monitors are huge, and I hate a bright white screen and staring at it forever. Because when you use Google Ads Editor, typically you're staring at little tiny text on a bright white screen. I don't like it. So the dark mode is my favorite. It's something that you can't do on the Google Ads UI because there is no dark mode. So honestly, that's my favorite tip. But I have 3 others that I'll share. The other one was number of word column thing that I've already mentioned that. So the other 3 are this. You can hide/show your empty categories. This is something I don't want to go into details on how to use. Jason, join the super patron tier and you can learn how to do it too. But the ability to do this is massive. Let me explain why and how it can save you. You're running a campaign, you forgot that you have demographic exclusions. You're running a campaign, you forgot that you have targeted audiences. You're running a campaign, you didn't realize you have 1,000 negative keywords. This is the kind of little tool and feature where you can find things that you totally forgot about. You can quickly review or audit someone's campaign very quickly by looking at all their settings. Imagine all the bloated options that you can do in Google Ads. Zip them down and see, okay, they have this many keywords, this many ads, this many ad groups, boom, boom, boom. All the other stuff you don't need to see, it's gone. Simplified and does not exist anywhere else. Great tool. Next is copy paste negative keywords. I don't know why there is not a copy paste. There's a copy paste on the regular keywords. Apparently, that's one feature they didn't want us to have, is to be able to copy paste negative keywords. That is a missing feature in Google Ads UI, and it drives me crazy. You can copy and paste negative keywords. That's something that does not exist anywhere else. And then last, you can view your metrics outside of Google Ads, and you can manipulate them in different ways, filter them in different ways, download all the metrics within a certain time range, and then look at only keywords that show you this. You can look at search terms. You can see everything, but you see it in a non-interactive, more of a spreadsheet format that can be sorted and organized and exported and stuff like that. So those 3 other things are just a sample of some of the things that I think make Google Ads Editor the #1 free Google Ads tool in the universe.
And Chris, by metrics, you mean data, clicks,
yes,
impressions, click-through rate, and all that.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. I think in Patreon, let's talk a little bit about, it's a controversial topic, but I always feel like I'm missing something with it. Managing accounts through the editor.
Okay.
I always feel like I'm missing, and someone's out there doing it better than me, and because they're managing through the editor. So I want to know your thoughts on that. Okay. And then also, we'll talk a little bit about importing and exporting through the editor, which you're not a sheet kind of guy, but this is a huge aspect of it.
And I want to